Welcome, fellow wanderers, to Postcards Between Pages, where stories spill out from well-thumbed novels into the world, and where travel isn't just a journey of miles, but a pilgrimage of meaning. I'm your host, inviting you today to one of the most poetic destinations on the American map, a place where steel and stone have, quite literally, been transformed by blossoms and imagination, the Bridge of Flowers in Shelburne Falls, Massachusetts. So wherever you are, walking city streets or nestled with your favorite book, let this be your postcard from a bridge that crosses not only a river, but the boundaries between industry and art, the past and the present, and the rich intermingling of botany and literature. Unfold this travelogue with me as we step onto the Bridge of Flowers, pondering its history, its community, and the eternal language of flowers echoed in literature across the ages. Imagine the year is 1908 in the town of Shelburne and Buckland, nestled in the undulating green hills of western Massachusetts. A new bridge stretches, arching across the Deerfield River, its purpose purely utilitarian. Designed by the MIT-trained civil engineer Edward S. Shaw, this sturdy concrete span was constructed not for beauty, but for business, to shuttle freight via trolley from railroad yard to mill, keeping the factories humming on both sides of the river. The neighboring iron bridge could only carry 20 tons, but this new, robust structure could bear the heavy loads required by the burgeoning industry. For nearly 2 decades, the Shelburne Falls and Coleraine Street Railway Company's trolley cars rattled across its surface, the sound of wheels on tracks mixing with the river song below. But progress never pauses. By 1927, the trolley company went bust, its business withered by the onrush of automobiles and highways. The bridge, so solid and yet purposeless, was left in limbo. And here our story might have ended, with this concrete sentinel moldering in weeds and memory, except for the intertwined fates of necessity and imagination, for beneath the bridge ran an essential water main to Buckland. Demolition was out of the question. It was too costly, and the water pipe was vital. The bridge became a symbol of a bygone era, overgrown and unloved, a sleeping possibility. And then, as so often in great stories, an inspired voice uttered a simple, luminous question. If weeds can grow on the bridge, then why not flowers? The visionary in question was Antoinette Burnham, her gaze lingering on the lost cause outside her window. That question, part musing, part invitation, was the seed that would transform the bridge and the village forever. Antoinette's husband Walter typed up her idea and sent it to the local newspaper, a call answered not by city planners or architects, but by neighbors. In fact, the women of the Shelburne Falls Women's Club. Inspired, these women pooled a $1,000 grant, a pricely sum in 1929, borrowed garden spades and wheelbarrows, and recruited the community to enroll 80 loads of loam and buckets of fertilizer onto the neglected bridge. Flowers and seeds, often donated from the very gardens of those tending them, replaced the wild overgrowth. The act of remaking the bridge was as much about cultivating community as it was about cultivating blooms. Since its opening as a garden in 1929, the Bridge of Flowers has never ceased to be a collaborative work of art, a testament to grassroots visions and the enduring power of volunteerism. Each season it reawakens, tended by dozens of hands, today under the stewardship of the Shelburne Falls Area Women's Club Bridge of Flowers Committee, and bolstered by the dedicated Blossom Brigade of volunteer gardeners. There is something deeply literary about such a rescue, a bridge not abandoned but reborn, a structure meant for transit, now a destination in itself, a path where commerce once hurried, now blossoming into a lingering, fragrant promenade. A bridge of flowers, like any garden, is no static work. It lives, breathes, and sometimes needs to be healed. Over the past century, the Bridge of Flowers has faced its share of adversity, crumbling concrete, weather's relentless toll, and the pressing need for renewal to maintain its integrity for future walkers. 2 major restorations galvanized the community in 1983 and again in 2024. Each time the community acted as hearth tenders. Volunteers carefully dug up every plant on the bridge, fostered them in their homes, then returned them once the structure was safe. The most recent restoration, a $3.2 million endeavor, replaced a failing wall, repaired cracks, laid a new water main, and updated the irrigation, handrails, and lighting. Importantly, it also reimagined the bridge's garden design for a new era, with hundreds of new trees, shrubs, perennials, and annuals blending with the returning favorites. Funded by local, state, and federal contributions, as well as countless donations, each restoration has equally been a restoration of community spirit. During closure, the Village of Flowers initiative saw local citizens and businesses fill their spaces with the blossoms, refusing to let the spirit of the bridge fade. In 2025, when the bridge reopened with a flourish of ribbons and music, it was a rededication not merely of stone and soil, but of the Shelburne Falls community to the value of shared beauty. Today, the bridge's annual plant sale, managed by the Women's Club and supported by business and visitors alike, ensures that its future is rooted in a living tradition of involvement. Each year, upwards of 100,000 visitors stroll the path in awe, symbols of the way a single idea, multiplied through community labor, can transform an entire place. Now let us linger halfway across, beneath the arching trellis. All around the Bridge of Flowers forms a kaleidoscopic corridor, over 500 plant varieties at their seasonal best, expertly curated so that something's always in bloom from early April to late October. In early spring, the first hints of color emerge, glory of the snow, crocus, and iris reticula, with daffodils sparkling amid the still chilly air. As April yields, tulips lift their bold cups skyward, mingling with hyacinths and primroses. The perfume of magnolia and serviceberry floats across the river, while azaleas, symbols of renewal, proclaim their own festival of color. By late May, the spectacle becomes exuberant. Bleeding hearts dangle their lacy blossoms, dogwoods bloom like living lace, and columbines nod among moss and foam flowers. The bridge, now thick with foliage, becomes a living tunnel, sun-warmed and humming with bees. Summer reaches its full crescendo with roses, peonies, and daylilies, while autumn brings cascades of asters, chrysanthemums, and golden grasses, mixing with butterflies and bees. Each bench along the span offers a slightly different view, one of cascading wisteria, another of sculpted topiary, all of it set against the moving backdrop of the Deerfield River, with the towns of Buckland and Shelburne enfolding the scene. Even the plantings have stories. Some are rare or heirloom varieties, preserved through generations of local gardeners. Many are donated or propagated, from the gardens of committee members, a tapestry of memory and generosity entwined with floral beauty. As we amble along the Bridge of Flowers, it becomes impossible not to contemplate the deeper resonance of the floral world. The way flowers have always meant more than themselves, their meanings cultivated in language and literature across centuries. Flowers have played a vital role in storytelling since ancient times, their appearances encoded with meanings as subtle and shifting as shades on a petal. In the Victorian era, this became an entire language, where bouquets spoke of love, secrecy, hope, or sorrow, when words could not be spoken aloud. In literature, the rose is perhaps the most enduring symbol, a bloom signifying love and desire, yet also thorns, secrecy, and pain. Juliet, in Shakespeare's immortal lines, disentangles name from essence. What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other word would smell as sweet. For her, the rose is more than a flower. It is the infinity of love, unspoken and unstoppable, regardless of family feud or name. Roses, of course, have different meanings depending on their color. Red for passionate love, white for innocence, yellow for friendship and joy, even black for remembrance and mourning. The variety itself speaks to the way a single flower can telescope meaning according to context. In the poems of Rooney, the rose is a metaphor for divine longing. In Jane Eyre, a rose signifies devotion and endurance. Daffodils echo again and again as harbingers of renewal and inspiration. Consider William Wordsworth, whose wandering lonely as a cloud stumbled upon a field of a host of golden daffodils dancing in the breeze. The light was transformative, lifting his spirit from gloom and later serving as a wellspring of joy and memory, proving the power of nature's beauty to shape the heart, to heal and inspire. Lotuses, lilies, violets, tulips, and poppies, each flower in literature carries its bouquet of associations. The lily, for instance, can mean both innocent and resurrection, appearing in elegies of the dead and in the arms of the Virgin Mary as a symbol of purity. The lotus, sacred in Eastern traditions, becomes an emblem of enlightenment and transformation. Not all floral messages are weighty with love or sorrow. Some, like the yellow rose, radiate warmth and cheer, signifying not romance, but friendship, an open expression of gratitude, camaraderie, and honesty. To gift a yellow rose is to affirm platonic affection and mutual respect, to brighten a friend's day, or to celebrate new beginnings. Sunflowers, their faces open to the sun, and zinnias, sturdy and colorful, have also come to represent enduring, uncomplicated friendship, while the dahlia stands as the flower of admired beauty, its many layers a metaphor for the multifaceted way beauty impacts both the eye and the soul. In poems, flowers often symbolize the beauty and brevity of life. In Robert Herrick's To the Virgins, to make much of time, implores us to gather ye rosebuds while ye may, reminding us that beauty and youth are fleeting, to be cherished in the very present. Similarly, the poppy, in Louise Bogan's verse, embodies the poignance and loss and remembrance. Beyond beauty and emotional, personal sentiment, flowers are also universal tokens of health, renewal, and healing. Lavender, with its silvery foliage and whispered scent, has been intertwined with human rituals of purification and protection for thousands of years. Symbolizing serenity and grace, lavender's use across history in medicine, bathing, and sleep traditions imbues it with associations of calm, healing, and safety. Azaleas embody resilience. They bloom in the driest seasons, forging beauty from harshness, and are given to wish well-being or a swift recovery. Their role in literature and art often signals a rebirth, a protagonist's transformation, or the dawning hope after darkness. A bridge itself is also layered with metaphor. It links not only places, but ideas, people, memories. With the bridge of flowers especially, there emerges an even deeper symbolism. Here, what was once a path of industry has become a path for reflection. Where a water main ran, now runs an undercurrent of inspiration, connection, and renewal. The bridge stands as an ever-changing, ever-renewing testament to the resilience and creativity of a small community, and to the values of stewardship and volunteerism. No two walks across the bridge are ever quite the same. The lineup of flowers change, the lights shift, the air is thick with new scents, stories, or laughter. Artists with easels find their muse here, as do writers with notebooks, lovers planning proposal, children intent on counting bees, and visitors from across the world who fill their guest book with wonder. Even during closures and crises, this spirit persists, whether through a village of flowers scattered through the streets, or the return of aged plants to the bridge after rescue and repair. This resilience evokes once again the symbolism of renewal, central to both gardening and literature. The perennial hope that after every winter, every restoration, every active repair, beauty will return, often richer than before. In walking this bridge, one becomes a part of a living poem, another verse in a communal story that stretches back nearly a century. Here, restoration is perpetual. The same hands that plant flowers also uproot them for the bridge's survival, tend them at home, then return after repairing, an act echoing the narratives of renewal, pervasive in poetry and myth. Even the Compass Rose, newly installed in 2025, marks the crossing not only between Buckland and Shelburne, but between ideas and futures. And now, as our postcard begins its slow journey between the pages and back to you, perhaps you find yourself transformed by the Bridge of Flowers, as so many others have been. Whether you're an avid gardener, a keeper of the secret language, or a reader drawn to the poetry of travel, I hope this episode leaves you with a vivid image. Sunlight filtering through petal and leaf, the mingled fragrance of old earth and new hope, and the knowledge that stories, like gardens, are acts of ongoing care. So the next time you cross a bridge, I invite you to ask, what could be planted here in this liminal space between what was and what is yet to come? What weeds might become wildflowers if only the right hands intervene? Maybe, like Antoinette Burnham, you'll see a possibility hidden in plain sight, just waiting for one person, or many, to believe. Thank you for wandering with me today, for slowing your step to smell the roses, and for carrying this small, fragrant postcard with you as you turn the next page. Until our paths cross again, safe travels, and may you always find yourself in full bloom.